What up, YouTube? Just want to talk about Shawn Porter calling out Keith Thurman. Now, I want to say, anybody who has watched any of my previous videos having to do with Keith Thurman knows that I am a Keith Thurman fan. I almost want to say fanatic. I'm almost a Keith Thurman borderline Terminator. But I can't bring myself to give no fighter special treatment. That's what I want to talk about in this video. So Shawn Porter, another fighter that is one of my favorite fighters. I can't help but to love Shawn Porter. I mean, Shawn Porter, he does not talk no shit. He just goes in there and he does what he has to do. He goes in there and he does what he has to do every single time. I mean, I know he lost to Kell Brook, but Kell Brook, it's not like he's a nobody, So I don't really hold that against him. It's not like he's going in there and looking bad against other fighters that he shouldn't be beating. When he fought Adrian Broner, I couldn't believe how many people I saw picking Adrian Broner to win that fight, because Adrian Broner really hasn't done much if you really think about it. If you look at his career, he really hasn't done much. I mean, on paper in black and white, it sounds like he's done a lot, but you can't take everything in black and white. In boxing, there's a lot of gray areas. But anyways, that's besides the point. This video is not about Adrian Broner. This is about Shawn Porter calling out Keith Thurman. Okay? My list by hierarchy is my favorite fighter is Manny Pacquiao. Currently under him is Keith Thurman. And then I would probably have to say Shawn Porter after that. And that is in the welterweight division. I mean, those aren't just my favorite fighters, period. That in the welterweight division, that is my hierarchy. All right. So now I'm going to go into this next part of the video. This is what I have to say. I'm loving this fight. Okay. I mean, One Time versus Showtime, I mean, it just sounds right. It's just a good fit. They're both good fighters, and I can honestly say that I can't give the edge to either of them. It's a 50-50 split, in my opinion. It's a 50-50 split because Shawn Porter has fought the better opposition. But he has a loss. Keith Thurman hasn't fought as good opposition, is undefeated, but it's not like he doesn't have any good wins either. This is what I've been waiting for, is for these guys that are in the top 10 and the top 5 to fight each other. Because just like I said, I think it was 1 or 2 videos ago, that doesn't happen right now. Right now, I mean, I hate to say it, but these dudes been acting like a bunch of divas. And I don't say that they're acting like Miguel Cotto, because in my opinion right now, Cotto is probably the ultimate diva. I mean, I don't like any of the shit that Cotto's doing. And I actually like Cotto. I do. But what he's doing right now, I don't think is good for the sport of boxing. But anyways, I think this is a good fight for the sport of boxing. And, Shawn Porter's calling out Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman is always talking about nobody wants to fight him, and I do agree. But now you got Shawn Showtime Porter calling out Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman has no excuses at this point. Unless something happens and he's involved in a drastic car accident or something and he's injured, there's no reason why this fight shouldn't happen this year. All right. Shawn Porter had a fight in June. Keith Thurman had a fight in July. They both won. There's no reason why this fight shouldn't happen. All right. The only other excuse that I could think of is if he could get a fight with with Amir Khan, which to me, I prefer to see the Shawn Porter fight over the Amir Khan fight. But Amir Khan is a bigger name than Shawn Porter. I mean, that's just real. So I wouldn't be mad at him for taking that fight instead. And I actually wouldn't be mad if he were to take the Errol Spence fight. I'm not against the Errol Spence fight. I just don't see how people act like Errol Spence is deserving of the Keith Thurman fight yet. But I wouldn't be mad at Keith Thurman if he decided to take the Errol Spence fight. I instead, because so many people are just talking shit. You know, they're trying to say that he's ducking him or whatever. So I wouldn't, if I believe that the fights that the fans want to see should be the fights that are made. So, I mean, even though I disagree with it, a lot of fans do want to see that fight. So if he were to pick Errol Spence as well, then I wouldn't be mad at that either. It's not as good, logically, it's not as good as the other two fights, and I don't think he should do that. But from a sport perspective and a fan perspective, I do see a lot of people wanting that fight. So if he just says, you know what, I'm just going to shut the world up, fight Errol Spence, and then move on with my career, I would not be mad at that either. But that being said, Amir Khan supposedly, and I say supposedly because Amir Khan also supposedly called out Kell Brook, told him if he got a title, he would fight him, and we all know how that went. So supposedly, Amir Khan is also calling out Keith Thurman. So, Keith Thurman has options now. It's not like before where nobody was trying to fight him. Now you got these bigger names calling him out, and if he fights another Collazo, I am going to be severely disappointed. And I will reevaluate where I put him in my, as my favorite welterweights. So, but let me know what you think. It's like I said, I'm not biased. Like, yeah, Keith Thurman is one of my favorite fighters just simply because he's the hometown hero. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to give him a free pass either. I see a lot of other people giving free passes for their favorite fighters, and I think that's stupid. You ain't doing your favorite fighter any kind of justice by supporting everything that they do. It's you're babying them. If you show a little backlash, if enough fans show enough backlash toward their favorite fighters when they do something that's questionable or they do something that not even questionable, that it's just a stupid cherry pick. If more fans did that, we wouldn't have the problems that we're having in the boxing in boxing today, because your favorite fighter takes a fight that's ridiculous and then you want to make it out to be like it's a good fight and everybody should want to see it. And you're not doing your fighter no favors. Just call it how it is. They get enough backlash, they're gonna be more motivated to take on better fights. And then in the end, only good could come out of it. We're gonna get the fights that we should be getting. None of this premier boxing cherry picking bullshit. But anyways, that's all I gotta say about this. Showtime versus One Time. It's a good fight. Hope it happens. If it doesn't, it better be one of the other fights that I mentioned. So let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Y'all be easy.